So let's now move on to our panel. And we're so excited. We have been getting a lot of requests for different panels and topics, and we've got a whole list of them we're going to work through. This is, without question, number one, most requested. And you can see we've got 113 people here already. We're going to do a two-part series on teams. Today's group will focus on kind of medium or small to medium-ish teams, and then next week's group will get a little bit bigger teams. And we've got 4 panelists here. And I just want to start by saying, this doesn't suppose that teams are the way to go, right? Some people are individual agents, some are teams. And of course, even if you're an individual agent, you are still part of a team, right? You've got your finance folks, you've got your stagers, your photographers, your assistants, all that kind of stuff. So we define it a little bit differently, but everybody to some degree is part of a team. And so we're going to explore that a little bit deeper. Our 4-person panel today, we've got from Pittsburgh, Rachel Lee, who you all know, she's amazing. LASIK, by the way. She's going to go first because she is running a fashion week in Pittsburgh. So we're going to have her go first. Then we've got Yasmin down in Naples, Ali in Idaho, Eagle, Idaho, and then Makala in Philly. So I'm going to start with Rachel Lee. And Rachel Lee, just give us because you're the example of maybe somebody that hasn't fully gone the team route, but you're starting to move in that direction. Let's start with this. Why? Why are you thinking of kind of moving deeper into the team world? Let's start with that.
Thank you, first and foremost, for having me on today, and welcome all new members. You know what, Brennan, honestly, it's something that where you take on a lot of business and then you've got to start delegating because you can't clone yourself, at least not right now. And in order for me to be a little bit more efficient with productivity and also with systems, there needs to be certain players in the game that are all involved together as a team, but also can be placed strategically so that you could be just more efficient and take on more business. At some point, you have to say, well, what is my threshold? Right now is one of those times where I'm at 24 listings and I'm leaving for Italy for a month.
Oh my
so
gosh.
there's times like
24
this.
active listings right now? Oh
yes.
My gosh. Okay, yeah.
And that's including some rental properties as
Right,
well,
sure.
which we're starting to wean ourselves off of because of the time consumption that it takes. And it's just not very productive from a financial standpoint for yourself or a team unless that's all you're doing.
Right. So where are you in this journey? So you're like, okay, I've got the threshold. Kind of where are you in what are the first steps that you're starting to take?
So right now, the one thing that I really wanted to do was I wanted to find a coach. I think I'm at a point in my career where Pittsburgh is a big, small city that, is not that metropolitan yet, but we're turning into that due to our tech eds and meds. So I feel that I definitely need a coach. And I think Yasmin said it earlier, when you're around a mindset of people or professionals on a regular basis, whether it's through the Sotheby's network or whether it's through Realm or even my own professional networks here or that I belong to, you get into this mindset where you're driven to do more. You're driven to be the best you can be. And I feel like in order for me to see if this is the step that I'm really going to take to move forward, I think I got to start with a coach, answer some questions and do some self-evaluation, which I'll have plenty of time to do on the plane. So I'm going to really take a deep dive into who I am in business and who I want to become and to what level I want to take it towards. And do I want to stay in Pittsburgh? That's the other question too.
That's a really interesting point, and I'm glad you made that. I mean, I think a common reaction can be, okay, I've hit a threshold and I need a team, and how do I build a team, and who do I hire, and how do I hire them? And we're going to get into all that today, by the way. But your initial step is, you know what? How about I just kind of get a coach or a professional therapist to help me understand kind of where my head's at, so that I even know if this makes sense for me. That's a very thoughtful way to go about it, and I think really good advice.
And I have to say, the coach that I did select, and I won't announce it for a little while, but the questionnaire that I received really made me think, okay, if this is what I'm going to do, look at these questions and really find time to bring it out of your soul and your heart of who you want to become. And I think that's where now I'm in the midst of making that decision. So I'll start with the coach 1st of November.
Okay. Have you kind of moved beyond that in terms of you've started to, because one of the things I think we hear a lot of is, okay, how do I grow my, like, where do I find people and how do I find the right people? Have you started to think about, even though you haven't taken the steps, have you started to think about what type of person would you like to, if you do build a team, what type of team member would you like your first hire to be?
I think everybody has their own niche that they're good at. And that's part of the soul searching that I'm going to do is what am I missing? What am I not good at? And what can help bring together the best out of a team for all of us? So I think that's the first step is, finding that loophole where you don't deliver and filling that void. And then working together. And I do look for a lot of creatives because I'm very creative. I love video production. I love creating out of the box experiences for our clients' properties. And a lot of you on Realm have been very influential on that. So I thank you for that inspiration. But I think it really depends on what you're looking for. I'm not looking to be the top dog. I'm not looking to be type A versus type A. I'm looking for a relationship to build and also to be a business partner. And I think that that's very important to see what's missing, what can I add, and can we get along? I think taking personality tests is very important and reviewing that personality test. Anyone that I've worked with before, I do have them do that.
Yeah, that's by the way, back up for just a second. Dia had a really good question. Your coach, is it a general coach, like professional coach, or real estate specific?
It's real estate specific.
Okay. That's good to know. So they kind of know the landscape of,
yes,
of all that stuff. And so your first hire or your first teammate, you talked about, it could be, you're looking to fill personality or function voids, right? You're good at this. I want somebody else that's good at that. But anybody that's ever been involved in like acquisitions, for example, they will tell you the dollars and cents of the deal fall second to the culture fit. So it sounds like what you are also saying is you got to have a good personality fit, especially for that first hire. That's going to be set the tone for everything else, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Personality is everything. Relationship is everything. How they position themselves in public is everything. In a small city, in a small market like Pittsburgh, I know a lot of people. My social circles are very culture, business oriented. And again, it's a small city, so everybody knows each other here. So I think having a good reputation, and I'm not saying I have the cleanest slate, but at the end of the day, I've worked so hard to get to where I am today. I want to make sure that my team or whoever I'm having work with me has the same respect.
Yeah, I love it. By the way, for members that don't know, the new feature we rolled out 2 weeks ago, where you can now go in and type in a company name, and it will tell you all of the Realm members that have clients that are connected to that company. That came from Rachel Lee in Zoom in Pittsburgh. And we literally built that whole feature out because of what's going on there and you bringing it up. So thank you for that. Okay, any last thoughts as you're going into this journey? And of course, we're gonna circle back with you in several months and see how you did. But any last thoughts you want to share with the team as you're beginning this process?
The last thing I would really take a look at, and this is something that I really have to take a deep dive, is look at your accounting and look to see how does that partnership or that relationship with your team members structure, and does it work for your bottom line? Because obviously you can't be the breadwinner and then continue to dish out, a salary or even commissions to a team if they're not bringing any dinner to the table. So you have to be very strategic from a financial standpoint too. And that's something that the coach will really help me look into.
Yeah, I think that's it. Boy, those are really good nuggets. Starting off with a coach and getting kind of your own perspective, looking at a functional teammate and a personality teammate. And as we say in the Midwest, don't show up at a potluck only bringing a fork, right? You need to
Exactly.
contribute. You need to contribute as well. So those are great
Brendan, I
points.
want to, I'm, you know, I'm trying because we have such amazing panelists. I'm like trying to be deferential, but I want to just kind of highlight what Rachel Lee just said, though, in terms of, I think the people that are members of Realm and the people that are on this call, we represent the top 1% of the profession. And so I want to give Rachel Lee so much credit because, you know, treating our businesses like they are multi-million-dollar businesses, which they are, you know, and really looking at them like that, you know, hiring a coach, making sure that you've got a plan in place in terms of, you know, what types of personalities are you hiring, what type of accounting are you, you know, looking at in terms of kind of the overall effect on the P&L, who are you bringing in as a partner? I mean, those are all things you can't tell me another industry where you're working with the top 1% of the profession where those things wouldn't factor in. You know, and so it's so important that we kind of really look at this as an enterprise, which is what it is. So thank you. I mean, I think there's some huge sage advice there.
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
well
it.
said. Well said, Julian. Thank you indeed. Okay, you go to Pittsburgh Fashion Week. Have fun. We'll look for photos online.